Yes, good morning. I hope you're all doing well. 12th man is back. The transfer morning show is back. Good morning to you, and or evening or afternoon, wherever you're listening around the world. Big up to every single one of you for being here nice and early. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe channel. We're getting so close now. So close to 30k. We're only hundreds away now, not thousands away. So please do click the like and subscribe on this one before we go any further. And make sure you check out last night's show. Fantastic show with the panel. There's around about 7 or 8 of us talking all things race for Europe. Of course, we're not talking about the European games, but we are talking about the teams that are in Europe. And some of those teams might now be changing. Nottingham Forest. Wow. Just wow. Big up to them, man. And I'd said this, if Arsenal don't win the league, which I don't think we will, I would absolutely love a team to do a Leicester. And it looks like if there's any team that's going to do it, it would be Nottingham Forest. Make sure you've hit the like and subscribe button and that you are aware of these two things. First of all, we have to go with the sponsor of the channel, which is Reality Raffles. They have got another opportunity to get you to a football game of your choice. Win a £500 football match day experience. There are instant wins as well for just 99 pence for a raffle ticket. Make sure you are following Reality Raffles because they do all sorts of football opportunities as well as other music and gigs and concert opportunities as well. So please make sure that you're following Reality Raffles, that you have clicked on the link in the description and that you have bought your ticket, and you might be able to get to the North London Derby. You might be able to get to a match of your choice. If you're not an Arsenal fan, then you could go to Old Trafford, you could go to the Etihad, you could go to Anfield. Please make sure you have at least entered the draw, which is drawn on Friday, so you don't have long. If you do want to use the code FTM10, you'll get 10% off as well. So please make sure you put that into the voucher code as well, FTM10, and make sure you get into the draw on Friday. And if you do win it, please let me know. Yeah, please let us know. We'd love to know that one of our viewers has won it. So please let me know, because I know a few of you have putting in for it. So please do let me know if you win. 99p, people. FTM10, 10% off, absolute cheapest chips. So let's get you guys drawn in there. Let's get you to some games, and hopefully I'll see you at the Emirates. Also, scan the QR code here or click on the link in the description, which will send you to the Eventbrite link to sign up to attend our live show at the Hippodrome Casino on the 24th of January, which is coming around fast. Please make sure that you are here for this one. There's going to be the whole of the panel for This Is London, plus special guests. We've got Sophie from Highbury Squad. We've got lead judges in the house, and there might be some more surprises. So please make sure that you do come along to this one. It'd be great to meet as many of you here in person as well, because I know all I get to see is names on here. I don't get to see many faces. So it'll be really good to see. So yeah, come on, people. It would be superb to get you guys in person to see, because it would be lovely to meet you all. So please do come down to London at the Hippodrome on the 24th and come and meet and greet us. There is a lot of transfer news this morning, and we need to talk about it. We need to talk about John Duran. We need to talk about Gyokeres, Vlahovic, Rashford, Douglas Luiz, Virgil Van Dijk, and some Arsenal news, of course, as well. So make sure you've hit the like button, make sure you've subscribed, and then we we'll get into it. Let's start with John Duran. Now, he is being linked with a number of clubs today. Now, I don't quite understand if there is any genuine interest from Duran's side in wanting to leave Aston Villa. It seems now they finally got used to what they need to do with Watkins and Duran. Duran at the moment is the one on fire. They don't seem to want to go with both of them. They don't seem to want to play them up top together as such, but they have done before. Now, Duran, I think, is a very talented player. He's one that this January a lot of clubs are interested in. Now, this morning it's reported that PSG are the latest club to be interested in signing John Duran, and it is believed that Aston Villa could be tempted to sell the 21-year-old Colombian striker for £60 million. And there's also suggestions that Barcelona and the sporting director Deco have already met with Duran's representatives for informal talks to let the striker know that he is on their radar of the Catalan club. Now, I don't know reports in France and Spain. This has actually come from TalkSport, one of these as well, in relation to PSG. There's clearly clubs circling John Duran. He's been on fire. He has been a superb striker for the start of this season. And for the first few months, I think there's a lot of clubs that would have him. A lot of Arsenal fans, friends of mine, say that we should be going for him in January. If he's £60 million, that is actually a really good piece of business. And at 21 years old, he could get better and better. So this would be a really good signing. If Arsenal were to go anywhere near this, I would get excited because he's been on fire. He's Premier League proven. He's got that everything, like ceiling is higher, he's got everything in front of his feet. 21 years old, Colombian striker. He's got unbelievable technical ability, great skills. He doesn't have any fear in taking a shot from outside the box, and I like that about him. And look, if you're offering me him or Watkins, I'm taking Duran all day long because I do think that he's got the most potential. And I actually think he's better in front of goal. I know that people would say, how can you say that after Watkins has proven to be a goal scorer? I think Watkins is actually quite wasteful. I like him, but I think he's more wasteful than John Duran. So a lot of people, I can see why they would take Duran over Watkins. And I can see now why PSG and Barcelona want Duran and not Watkins. So that for me could be an interesting piece of movement. So keep an eye on what happens with John Duran. Let's talk about Victor Gyokeres. He's my number one this transfer window. But it doesn't look like Arsenal are anywhere near getting him because Bayern Munich are looking to hijack Manchester United's potential bid to sign the Swedish striker Victor Gyokeres from Sporting Lisbon. Now, Sporting Lisbon have said that they're not really interested in selling him. However, they do and are aware that the release clause being activated would mean they'd have their hands tied and it would be up to Victor Gyokeres. Now, a lot of people have just assumed he wants to go to Manchester United because Ruben Amorim is there. Well, let's remember, he has not followed Ruben Amorim around with his career. He started off in his homeland club. Then he's come to England. He went to Brighton for a stint, went to Coventry for a stint. Of course, then went to Sporting Lisbon where he met up with Amorim. But now Amorim's not there. It doesn't mean that he's 100% set on Manchester United. Now, if it is true and that he wants to go to Manchester United, I think they will look to get him because I think that that is a position that they clearly want. But it sounds as if Bayern Munich are interested. Now, Vincent Kompany wants a striker. I'm really surprised at this one because I believe that with Harry Kane there, that they're going to be competing for a first team place. So therefore, I just don't see this one being happening, if I'm honest with you. Out of the two clubs, Bayern Munich and Manchester United, I think Victor Gyokeres would look at that opportunity and say, well, I'm guaranteed first team football at Manchester United, but look at the state of them. But at 26 years old, it's not like he's coming to the end of his career. He is in his prime. He is at his best. And I think it'd be a phenomenal signing. Now, I don't understand why Liverpool, Arsenal and Chelsea and even Manchester City aren't all over this if it is England clubs that are interested in him, because I think he'd be a phenomenal signing for anybody in England. And it's a shame that Arsenal aren't all over this one, because with a release clause, you'd think that would be absolutely perfect for Arsenal. But for whatever reason, they seem to believe that, it's not something they want to see happen. Well, I don't know that to be true, but it looks at the moment as if Arsenal just aren't interested in Victor Gyokeres. So we'll have to see what happens here. We really will. Look, I would love him. I don't think it's happening. I would absolutely love him. And I've kind of accepted that we're not in for him and that we must be in for somebody else. I just hope and pray that we are in for somebody else because we need a striker, people. We need a striker. Moving away from strikers, Real Madrid and Virgil van Dijk is being spoken about. Now, it's not in relation to Trent Alexander-Arnold, but it could be because Trent is obviously wanted by Real Madrid. There's no news on the progressions of that today or this morning, but it looks as if he is torn between staying at Liverpool or moving to Real Madrid. As for Virgil van Dijk, there's been reports and rumours suggesting that Real Madrid have actually rejected the chance to sign Virgil van Dijk on a free after being approached by the 33-year-old's management. Now, I don't really understand what that actually means, but clearly they see him as someone that they do not want to sign on a free transfer. Now, I made this comment to Lee, didn't I? And I said, Real Madrid could go and get Alphonso Davies on a free, and that's their left back. They could go and get Trent on a free, and that's their right back. They could go and get Van Dijk on a free, and that's their centre back. They clearly want Saliba. So having Saliba and Van Dijk at Real Madrid partnering each other would be unbelievable. And then Salah could go on a free on the right-hand side, and they could have Kylian Mbappe up top, Vinny Jr. on the left, Salah on the right. They'd have an unbelievable midfield, Camavinga, Bellingham, Valverde, etc. And then at the back, they could have Trent, Alphonso Davies as their fullbacks, Van Dijk and Saliba with Courtois in goal. That is what they are building at Real Madrid. Potentially another Galacticos team. And let's be real, I can't really see Saliba leaving this summer, but that's clearly the defender that they want. But apparently, they've rejected the chance to get Van Dijk on a free. It sounds as if they've rejected the chance this summer, and they were apparently looking at talking about it last summer as well. So let's see what happens here. Make sure you're hitting the likes, people. Big up to Deluded. Make sure you're following Deluded. Big up to you, DG. I hope you're well, bro. And good morning to you. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. There's nearly 300 of you in here at the moment. So make sure you hit the like button because we've not got anywhere near 50 yet. We need to easily get 150. Come on, people. You can do that. It's a free button. Hit like and subscribe. It costs you nothing and it does so much to the channel. So please make sure that you do that. Big up to you, DG, and I hope you're well. Let's talk about Casemiro because it is a player that I believe could be off. The Saudi Pro League is hopeful of recruiting Casemiro. He's 32 years old, and it looks like this month he is interested in a move. And Saudi leagues are circling, Saudi clubs are circling, should I say. Look, he's not really worked at Man United, has he? Let's just be real. He had the first good season where I thought he was good for the best part of 6 to 9 months, and then he kind of massive drop off, and it thought, yeah, huge decline of a footballer. And now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely can't deny what Casemiro has done in the game and won in the game, right? But when I look at what he's done at Manchester United, I just thought it was a bit of a strange signing because as much as I believe you should look at getting ready-made players that are done and ready now, surrounding him was nowhere near ready. So when you've got someone who's in their late 20s to early 30s, surrounded by 21 to 25-year-olds, you're going to be ready in 4 or 5 years with the 21 to 25-year-olds, not Casemiro at that time is going to be in his late 30s. So I didn't think that or Varane made any sense, to be honest. But it looks like he could be on his way to the Saudi clubs or the Saudi Pro League. So let's see which one he goes to, if any. There is interest, and Arsenal have also been interested in Kolo Muani. He's the next guy being linked with Manchester United. Spurs are also actively exploring a January deal to sign him. But apparently it's going to be on loan from PSG. Juventus also interested in the 26-year-old. He hasn't had a great time at PSG, if I'm honest with you. And although he did come over, I think it was from Germany where he was doing very well. Arsenal were actually linked back then. I just never really got it. I never really was excited by it. And I can see why now. Not many players have gone over to PSG and lit it up. You know, they bought some really big players, Goncalo Ramos, Kolo Muani, Dembele, João Neves, to be fair. Nuno Mendes linked with a move away. I mean, look, PSG is just a strange club. They've got a hell of a lot of money. But what do we do? Kolo Muani, not for me. It wouldn't be my choice, let me tell you that. But my problem is, after reading that, if he's available on loan, then Arsenal might look to get a loan. And I really hope that if Arsenal get a loan, they stay away from this next guy because Marcus Rashford is being linked with a loan move away. And it looks like it's going to be AC Milan. He's 27. Any deal will depend on United paying a sizable portion of the England forward's salary, according to The Guardian. I don't want him. And I made it quite clear that I don't want him. I don't know how I can make it any more clearer. Look, Marcus Rashford had unbelievable potential at 17 to 18. He was a player that I think everyone could see was going to be a top talent and had the world at his feet. But Marcus Rashford is just nowhere near what I want anywhere near Arsenal. I would argue that he's no better than Martinelli or Trossard right now. I would also argue that he probably brings in a mentality that wants to be seen in the Conference League right now, nowhere near the Premier League. I certainly don't want any of that toxicity brought back to Arsenal. I think the wages he's on is absolutely insane. How anyone justified paying 375 grand a week for this guy is clearly off the charts. And I think that he does need to go abroad. Now, PSG or AC Milan, it might be suited to him. I mean, Rafael Leao's at AC Milan, so I can't really see why they'd need him. PSG, likewise, have obviously got some players on the wing, but I do think that he needs a new challenge away from England. And maybe he will cook. You know, Football Terry, speak up to him. He said, I think he'll cook at Arsenal. Well, why? Like, what is there about Arsenal you think is so special for players to cook in the attack? Because other than Saka, none of them score. So I just don't think that is a good move for Arsenal Football Club. And I don't actually think it's a good move for Rashford either. I think he needs to go abroad. and try and revive his career somewhere else, try a new challenge, try a new environment, and see where he finds himself there. But AC Milan are interested, and maybe that's the move for him. Maybe that's what the move is that is needed. But the Guardian are suggesting that Manchester United are trying to get a deal worth somewhere for Marcus Rashford, where they may have to pay a sizable fee of his wages, a little bit similar to Raheem Sterling at Arsenal. So maybe that's the next move for him. It's a strange one, if I'm honest, because I do feel like there is an opportunity for Rashford to revive his career. I still think he's a fairly good player. I've never hated him in terms of his quality. I've never sat there and thought that he was a donkey or anything like that. I do think he's a good player. I just think there's better out there, and there's better out there for Arsenal. That's the key thing here. There's better out there for Arsenal. I think when you look at what the clubs that or the players that we have been linked with in the past, I just think there's better. And some people, I know quite a lot of people that actually do want him. I know a lot of people that want him. I know a lot of people that believe that he would be a good signing, but not for me. Not for me. Let's talk about this player because apparently he could be on his way back to the Premier League. Now, Juventus, he's had absolute fallouts with. I don't quite understand what has happened with Douglas Luiz since he's gone to Juventus, but excuse me, it looks as if there could be an opportunity to get Douglas Luiz. Now, would you take him at Arsenal? Because I would. Let me tell you that. I would. I actually really would. I think he's a top player. I think he's one that can play in a number of positions as well, to be fair. So I would take him at Arsenal. But at the moment, it looks as if he is a target for 2 Premier League clubs. Juventus are open to a move for the 26-year-old. Now, 26, that's fantastic. I think Manchester City could be all over this. Look, he's a player that I've always liked. He was a Premier League proven player. I think he's a player that a lot of people would take. Villa must be interested in reuniting him because I do think that it was a situation where they didn't really want to leave him. But it was best for the club at the time. And I just think for Arsenal, this would be perfect. I think he comes in and has the future in one of those holding midfield or box-to-box roles. I think with Rice, he would be fantastic. I think Partey and Jorginho's futures are up in the air. Marino has not really settled. This is a Premier League proven player. And I'd love Arsenal to do it. Arsenal, I know, were linked before and wanted him. But I think this would be a great signing. But Aston Villa and Man City would probably be my guess if there are 2 Premier League clubs, as suggested, that are interested. I think Aston Villa would definitely be interested in reuniting with him. And I think we should look at what could happen in the future. I mean, look, let me know in the chat what you think. There's some people that would say, yeah, absolutely, 100%, I'd take him. Some people are saying, no way. But let me know because there's quite a lot of people that I think, aren't interested. I mean, we've got here why Luiz is not good enough for Villa. He was good enough for Villa. That's why he went to Juventus. He was too good in the end, and they couldn't keep hold of him. I think this would be a very good signing. I really do. I think it would. Let's talk a little bit going back to Manchester United because there are Dusan Vlahovic links again. Obviously, he's now at Juventus. This was when he was at Fiorentina. Apparently, Manchester United have been offered Vlahovic in a swap deal for Joshua Zirkzee, who Juventus are interested in signing. They want him on loan, apparently, but there's no interest in leaving Manchester United. But I think that could change. 23-year-old has not settled in at Manchester United, and I don't think he's wanted by Ruben Amorim, clearly by the fans. Sky Sports are suggesting that Juventus are a team that want him. Could there be a swap deal here? They're both proven in that league to score goals, both Dusan Vlahovic and Zirkzee. Hasn't worked out for Zirkzee in England. Would it work out for Dusan Vlahovic? Now, Vlahovic is a player that Arsenal have been linked with as well. And it sounds as if Juventus haven't been able to strike a deal for him to remain at the club in the coming years. So would it mean that they would look to sell? Would you take him at Arsenal? Just let me know. Yes or no. Would you want Dusan Vlahovic? Because Arsenal have been linked with this guy for the best part of 3-4 years now. And he hasn't really lit it up, if I'm honest, in Italy. I speak to Judge Mo, big up to him. He's obviously a fan of Serie A. He's an Inter Milan fan. I said to him, what's he like then? And he was like, yeah, he's all right. He scores goals. He said, but his first touch is worse than Lukaku's. And that put me off, really, because I look at it and I think, is that a huge upgrade on Kai Havertz? I think potentially, yeah, because he's an actual, number 9, proper number 9, has always played in the number 9. He has proven to score goals for Fiorentina. But is it a huge upgrade on Kai Havertz? I don't know that it is, guys. I've just got to be brutally honest. I don't know that it massively is. From what I can see, what I heard about him at Fiorentina was, wow, he was the exciting number 9 that everybody wanted. And then obviously he went to Juventus and he hasn't really cut the mustard over there. Let's be real. He hasn't been fantastic, has he? He's been okay. He scored some goals. That is literally it. Let's look at his stats quickly, because he's been at Juventus now for a couple of years. So 21-22 when he was at, let's go to his Fiorentina days. 20-21, he scored 21 goals in 37. The following season at Fiorentina, he got 17 goals in 21. Then he went to Juventus and he got 7 goals out of 15 starts in his first season with some injuries. He then got double figures, 10 goals in 27 games. So that's 1 in 3 pretty much. He then got 16 goals in 33 and he's got 7 so far in 16 matches. So, as I say, similar to Havertz, but over in Serie A, which I think is an easier league than the Premier League, right? So do we really want to be looking at Dusan Vlahovic? Could be an interesting one, but not for me. Let's talk about Bellingham. It's not, of course, Jude Bellingham. It is actually Joe Bellingham. And he, at the moment, is being linked with Arsenal. But he's also being linked today for £20 million with Crystal Palace. They're interested in the 19-year-old. Bellingham, whose Sunderland value at £20 million, has actually had a very good season. I don't watch the Championship like I used to. And I say like I used to because I used to try and watch as many of the Friday nights or games as we could, or the Saturday night games or whatever it was. But I honestly do not believe that he has been I do believe that he's been very, very good from what I hear. Now, look, the reason that he's going to be linked, everyone's going to get excited, is because he's Jude's brother. But let's be real, he's nowhere near the level of Jude Bellingham. Otherwise, he would be playing in the Champions League at 19. But maybe he can get a Premier League move. He's in a similar position to Jude Bellingham. I believe that he plays in around about that same kind of midfield box to attacking mindset. I think that he is a great prospect. Now, listen, if Crystal Palace are looking at him, they have signed some fantastic players. Crystal Palace have actually got really good scout systems. You look at what Dougie Friedman's done since he's got there. You look at the likes of Eze that's been brought in. You look at the likes of Elise, Mark Guehi. You've got to add Tariq Mitchell and some of the other guys that have been coming through the ranks. You also got to look at Adam Wharton, who's been brought in as well. If they got Bellingham, it means that they're doing... Well, I mean, Daniel, what's his name at right back? Daniel Munoir, is it? He has been unbelievable for them at right back. He's been phenomenal. So Crystal Palace, to be fair, have actually put a good team together, which is why I never saw them going down. Mateta, they do have good scouting system. They get some good players. So if Joe Bellingham is the one that they want, then they've seen something. Now, do I think he's good enough for Arsenal? Because Arsenal have been linked. Not sure. I mean, everyone likes the sound of a Bellingham in the box-to-box midfield role alongside Rice, I'm sure. But it ain't Jude Bellingham, all right? And there wasn't too long ago that everyone wanted Rice and Bellingham as our actual partnership in the England and, of course, Arsenal team. So, yeah, doesn't look like that we're interested to that level, but Palace are the ones that are highly interested. Let's talk about Matheus Cunha, because Cunha was linked with Arsenal. There was very, very loose rumours from Team News and Ticks that he had agreed personal terms with Arsenal and that we were looking to get him. Now, it looks as if he's used Arsenal to get a new contract with Wolves, but the Brazil striker, who's only 25, is still considering his options before deciding whether to sign a new contract with Wolves. Now, if I was him, I'd probably look to get out, because Wolves are looking like they're going down the way they're playing. They're definitely in a relegation fight at the moment. I don't know that Pereira is the guy to keep them up, but Cunha to Arsenal would make sense. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm not set on it in terms of my heart set on it. I think he's had a good season for Wolves. I like the way that he can play in a number of positions. That left forward position is one that he can play in. He can play centre forward or number 10. I think he's got unbelievable technical ability. And I think he's a player that, although has scored some goals, has definitely been wasteful in front of goal as well. So I'm not too sure how I feel about this one with Cunha. Look, I would take him. I think we're in a position where we could definitely take him. But we kind of need somebody on the right as opposed to the left. I mean, I believe that we probably do need both. But we've got Martinelli and Trossard on the left. Cunha would come in and probably start over them, which means you'd have to use Trossard centrally, which I'd be more than happy to do because I actually think he plays better for Arsenal in the false nine or in the 9. But Cunha, I just don't know, has his heart set on Arsenal. If he's considering his options and he might need to try and or want to stay at Wolves, then of course I don't want him. I want to be looking elsewhere. And there are other targets that Arsenal are looking at, which we'll come to in a minute. Trevor Chalobah. Well, Chelsea are deciding whether to call him back. They've got problems at the back at the moment. And isn't it strange how Chelsea have had centre-halves that have all gone on to do pretty well? Mark Guehi being one of them, Nathan Ake being another one. You think, why would they not stay and keep these players? Livramento, Lewis Hall, Tariq Lamptey even. I look at these players and I think, why did Chelsea not actually try and keep some of these guys? Because they actually would have had a really good defensive stacked unit at the moment if they would have kept them. And at the time, it wasn't like they were pushing for moves for first team football. They were like youngsters who they were loaning out and believing them not to be good enough. And all of them have gone on to do very, very well and play at a good level. But Chelsea are debating whether to recall Trevor Chalobah. He's only 25. He's on loan at Crystal Palace. If they don't recall him, Team Talk are suggesting that they'll try to sign a new defender in January. And I've said this about Chelsea, right? Chelsea are not a million miles away. They've got a squad of players. They've got strength in depth. They need a world-class goalkeeper. I don't know if that goalkeeper is in the Premier League. Maybe it's an Emi Martinez type goalkeeper, or maybe it's a Jordan Pickford, or maybe they go for one of the up-and-coming goalkeepers there, or maybe they go abroad and try and get Diogo Costa or Michael Mannion or Jan Oblak or somebody like that. They need a centre-back, but I think it needs to be somebody like Mark Guehi. I think it needs to be somebody of that level. I do believe that they need a striker. And I think Victor Osimhen would be one of those guys that I think would be good. And then I think Chelsea are pretty much ready, if I'm honest, to go and mount a serious title challenge. That's what I think. So I don't think they're too far away at all, Chelsea. Let's move to Arsenal, because Arsenal right now are in desperate need of something. And it needs to be something not just to give us strength in depth, but to lift the crowd. Now, we've got the game tonight against Newcastle, which I do believe will be a difficult task for us. But this is the player that we want. And it keeps coming back and back and back. And it's circling and circling and circling at the moment. And it is a player who I do believe Arsenal should do all they can to scout before going straight in. Now, there's a lot of rumours suggesting that Arsenal have done their scouting. They're happy with Nico Williams as being their guy. And it looks as if Mikel Arteta is interested in Nico Williams. Now, Gunner Blog has suggested that if Arsenal are to do business in this January transfer window, it's likely to be one of two kinds. The first possibility is that it'll be a long-term strategic target, such as Nico Williams. Alternatively, a deal might be identified which Arsenal can pursue without significant financial implications or even long-term commitment. So what that means is they kind of want Nico Williams as their number one. Arteta is obsessed with him. Arteta clearly wants him. He's a left winger that I think lit up the Euros. But if I'm honest with you, at Athletic Club this season, he's only scored 2 or 3 goals. He hasn't been really that great. I don't think any of the La Liga are talking much about him. The news of him going to Barcelona has kind of died down. And I feel like this one is just lingering on a little bit. We clearly are interested. We clearly do want him. And Nico Williams looks like he is the guy that Mikel Arteta wants at Arsenal. We can't deny that. You know, it's clearly something that has just been rumoured around for quite some time now. And I've got to be real. I want to see more of him. I'd like to see him in the Premier League. I think he kind of suits the Premier League, if I'm honest. And yeah, I'm kind of more interested in how serious we are about this. But apparently we are massively interested in Nico Williams. And I think that Arteta, when he has his heart set on a player like he did Declan Rice, he tries to go all out to get them. And I think Nico Williams is that left-hand side player for him. Look, I was really excited with him at the Euros. But if I'm honest with you, I'm not too sure about how I feel about this one. I don't like the fact that he's had his heart set on staying in Spain either. I don't think that's a great look. I think that if he comes to England, he might need some time to adapt. So I don't think that if we were to get him in this January transfer window, that it would be um, one that can hit the ground running, is what I'm trying to get at. And I want players that can hit the ground running. Listen, people, there's 600 of you in here. Please do me a favor and hit the like button. Please make sure that you subscribe to the channel as well. And make sure that you have clicked on the raffle ticket prize in the description and that you're coming to the Hippodrome on the 24th. Both of those links are in the description. So please make sure you do that. And hopefully we'll see you there. Let's talk about this player because it's not one that I know much of. There are suggestions, however, that Arsenal are interested in Igelpel. Now, he is a player at Feyenoord, a winger, and Arsenal are interested. But also, there's a number of clubs: Aston Villa, Liverpool, Spurs, West Ham, and apparently Roma have all been scouting the Feyenoord winger ahead of a potential move. Now, I'd find it very strange that Liverpool would go for him because they've already got Diaz, Gakpo, and Jota that can all play out there on the left. And he is more of a left-sided player from what I understand. Look, his stats look very good. I will say that. His stats are looking pretty good. I don't think he's been... clearly, he's been doing well at Feyenoord. Look, Arne Slot would clearly know, wouldn't he? He's got 10 goals and assists in just 17 games. So he's obviously been not just on the score sheet with 4 or 5 goals, he's also got 5 or 6 assists as well. So he's clearly a talented player out there. The problem I've got with some of the Dutch league is I'm not so sure how I feel about guys that are doing well out there. It's great because there have been some unbelievable signings to come to the Premier League. Robin van Persie, Ruud van Nistelrooy. You remember R9 started over at PSV before he went and got his moves to Barcelona and Inter Milan, etc. So there has been unbelievable players. Ian Robben is another one who played very well over there. Dennis Bergkamp, Overmars, Carnu, they all come from those clubs. But of recent times, how many players have come from the Dutch league and have taken that form and continued it on? There's not been that many, has there? So we have to be careful. Look at Anthony at Manchester United. We need to be careful. We do. Look, Arsenal are going to be linked with players, people. We're going to be linked with players galore. We are going to be linked with wingers. And I think when you look at the players that we are interested in or that fans are interested in, it's all across the front three. Whether it's Premier League wingers like Brian Mbeumo, like Mitoma, like Semenyo, Mohamed Kudus, or if you go abroad and look at Lookman or Kvaratskhelia or Nico Williams or Marmoush, they're all players that are in that position. They're all playing across the front three. Cunha as well as another one. I'm fine being linked with them as long as we end up getting players at the end of it. What I don't want to be is linked with every single man and his dog, and then we get to the end and we're like, we couldn't do anything. It was too difficult. Nobody wanted to come to us. They all wanted too much money, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear excuses because there's release clauses here that we could release. At least activate it and then let that player make that decision. Go up to Athletic Club and say, look, 49 million release clause activated for Nico Williams. He decides what happens. Go to Sporting Lisbon, 84 million release clause for Victor Gyokeres. He decides what happens. Victor Osimhen, here you go, Napoli. Do you want one of our players? Can we do a swap deal? If not, here's a release clause. Boom. What happens over with Marmoush or Lookman, who are realistic targets? What about Brian Mbeumo or Semenyo? You're saying we can't afford them? Come on. There's a lot of players that Arsenal right now have to go and look for. And that's where I'm at. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, people. We're going to do these super chats before we come to a close. This one comes in from Per. He says, Arteta is getting paid £15 million a year to not demand expensive transfers. It's not happening. I can't blame him for putting himself before the club, though. Look, there's a lot of talk about Arteta's new contract that he's going to sign, £15 million a year. Some believe he's already signed it and that he's staying here for 3 years. Others believe that he's considering what his options are. Now, I personally would like him to sign it after this season, because if we do not do anything this season, I think he should do the right thing respectively and walk away and do what Gareth Southgate did. I don't think we should be giving him £15 million a year. This guy got about £17,000 a week at Arsenal, right? when he was a player. Now he's a manager. He's basically trebling or over trebling his wages. He's going to be on like £200,000 to £300,000 a week, £15 million a year. I think that's over £300 million a week, ain't it? That's got to be one of the, apart from Simeone and Pep, that's the highest in the world of football. And he hasn't won anything in 5 years. It's absolutely madness. Big up to BobB. He says, "Hi, Dan. I don't understand all this talk about transfers when the real problem is Arteta. I believe a Klopp or a Pep would win the league with our current squad, maybe with a proper goal scorer." Look, that last bit's right. We need a goal scorer if we want to go and win something and guaranteed it, because we don't guarantee goals at this Arsenal side. I will agree with you that I think Mikel Arteta's tactics and in-game management has cost us over the last couple of years. And this season, I don't quite understand where he's trying to go with his style of play. It looks to be walking football sideways and backwards, and it isn't very attractive or good to watch. It's boring at the moment. I think I'm going to do what I've always said, and that's review it in May. And it will tell me a lot, this transfer window, about who the problem is at Arsenal. Because if we have nothing to spend, it's definitely above Arteta. If we have players out there that Arteta doesn't want, then it's on Arteta. And if we get to May and he's won nothing and he's still there, then I'm coming for the Cronkies. I'm coming for the Cronkies. And that's the way it is. It's quite simple for me. It's fairly black and white. Win a trophy and challenge, you've had a good season. Win nothing, you've had a shocking season. That's the way it is. Lawrence, big up to you. He says, Dan, out of the 29 games we've played this season, how many can you say that we've dominated for the whole 90 minutes? Great question. There ain't many, because I'm already struggling to think of one. There must be. Probably some of the Champions League games, I would say. PSG in the Champions League. I think we need to be fair. And I think in the cup games, the Carabao Cup games, other than that, yeah, our midweek performances have been better than our weekend performances this year, if I'm honest with you. I don't think we dominated in many of the first few games. Maybe the Nottingham Forest game at home, the Wolves game at home. Maybe you can say West Ham, but they did have a period where they looked like they were going to come back into it when we were 4-0 up and they got back to 4-2. So that was a period they had. But no, you're right, Lawrence. It's tough. It really is tough. But majority of the Champions League games, if I'm honest with you. Suj, come on, people, run the likes up and subscribe. Please make sure you do that, people. How many likes have we got at the moment? We should have over 200 by now. We haven't. There's 600 people in here. Let's get 300 likes at least, people. Come on, hit the like and subscribe button. It's absolutely free. Doesn't cost you a penny. It takes 2 seconds. So please make sure that you do that. Suj says, I'm surprised we're not rumoured with a right back with our injuries to White and Tomiyasu. A Gyokeres and David Luiz window is still only a 4 or a 5 out of 10 window. Yeah, a lot of people are suggesting that the problems at the back are actually something we need to look at. And if I'm honest with you, it's actually crazy. It actually is crazy that we actually are talking about needing more defenders, because look at the amount of defenders that we've had and got at this club, and we still might need more cover. And what frustrates me is none of it is centre-back cover. So if we were to lose Saliba or Gabriel, we'd struggle because, well, we're in a position where we have absolutely no cover whatsoever. Calafiori and Kivior are the two covers for centre-back. Jurriën Timber and Ben White are the other two for right cover. But they're all full-backs. Kivior's played most of his Arsenal career at left-back. Calafiori started at left-back. Jurriën Timber's played right-back and left-back. And Ben White's had to be moved to right-back because he wasn't very good at centre-back. So it doesn't fill me with confidence, really. I'm not saying we need to go and sign 2 centre-backs now. What I'm saying is we need to be aware of what our cover looks like and if it is actually adequate cover. Fullback is an issue. It is, because we've got so many right backs and left backs. And if I'm honest with you, there's only 3 that I rate. And that's Timber, Ben White. And if I'm honest with you, the other one's probably Kieran Tierney. He's going to go. Calafiori, I need to give more time. Kivior, I don't like at left back. Zinchenko, I don't rate. Miles Lewis-Skelly's a kid, but I actually quite like the look of him. And Tomiyasu's made of glass, as much as I like him. So that's kind of frustrating, isn't it? That we've got all these players in the defence that everyone says we're stacked with. How many of them do you actually feel like we're actually going to have here long term? I don't think it's many. So we're in a position where we've got quite a lot of defenders, but none of them are actually holding down first team places other than Gabriel and Saliba. It's just mad. So I just think it's frustrating to have players at the club that are all injury prone. You know, like Chelsea saying, Blue Star FC saying, like Reece James. That's what Tomiyasu's like. It's crazy. Demian's footy. You're a legend, Demian. I hope you're well, bro. He said he's gifted 1 membership. Thank you so much, my bro. I really appreciate that. If you would like to become a member, then you hit like, subscribe, and then click join and follow the instructions, and you can pay a minimal fee to help with the content each month. So I really do appreciate those of you that are members. Big up to everybody that's watching here as well. What are Arsenal going to do? Well, we haven't got to worry about the January transfer window because tonight we've got a game. I'll be going to the Emirates tonight with Dad. We'll be there. Arsenal, Newcastle. That is going to be a very interesting game and a very interesting team lineup. I expect David Raya to stay in goal. I expect Timber to come back at right back. I expect Calafiori or Miles Lewis-Skelly to take up the left back position. Gabriel and Saliba, I think, should both play. A lot of people suggesting Kivior might come in. I do not want to see that. Not against Isak, thank you very much. In central midfield, we obviously have a few decisions to make. Is he going to play Jorginho or Partey in that 6? Hopefully it's Partey. Declan Rice, I imagine, will start. And then I think you've got to take Ødegaard into the number 10 if he's fit and well. If he's not, I don't know what we do. I don't know what we do because even when Nwaneri's out and we have no cover, it has to be Trossard, which I'm not a fan of in the number 10 role. On the right, it has to be Jesus because Sterling, Saka, and Nwaneri are all out. On the left, it will be Martinelli. And then up front, I think it will be Kai Havertz unless Trossard starts there because Kai Havertz is unwell still. That's what I think the team will be. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal win, but I fear that might not be enough going to St James's Park. Now, they have got some players out. Fabian Schär is out. Bruno Guimaraes is out. And they are 2 players that I do feel are very important and very underrated and underappreciated for Newcastle. So that is definitely going to be a blow for them. I imagine Willock or Longstaff will come in there. It will be Dan Burn and Botman, I believe, that as a centre-back partnership, again, that did well against Spurs. So I feel like we do have enough. We should have enough. We have to watch Isak. We have to watch Gordon. Tonali and Joe Linton might boss our midfield because they are that good. Lewis Hall has been fantastic, as has Livramento. So Newcastle have players that I'm a big fan of. And this is why I put them in the top 4 this season, because I felt like with 1 game a week they had a chance. And lo and behold, they're coming for them. They're coming for the top 4. They are. With 1 game a week. With that squad, they're coming for the top 4. And I expected them to. They got there last time. Why can't they get there again? Listen, people, big up to every single one of you. Before we do leave you, please make sure that you have all taken up the opportunity, of course, for this. This is our live show on Friday, the 24th of January. If you scan the QR code here now, or if you click on the link in the description, which will take you to the Eventbrite, you can sign up to attend. It is on the 24th of January, and there are special guests. It's going to be the whole of This Is London panel. There's going to be Football's 12th Man. There's going to be Highbury Squad with Sophie Nicolau. There's going to be lead judges, and there could be some other surprises of people you may know and watch pretty much daily. So please make sure you come along to the Hippodrome Casino at Leicester Square, and you will see us there. Big up to every single one of you that have signed up already. We've got quite a few tickets that are being purchased as we speak. Also, make sure we get you a chance to go to a football game. A lot of people are asking me, how do I get to the Emirates, Dan? How do I go and see Arsenal? Well, here's an opportunity. For just 99p, you can get your raffle ticket. The draw is on Friday. There is going to be £500 worth of a match day experience and instant wins as well. We've got 20 250 match day vouchers, 30 £20 website credits. So please make sure you get involved with Reality Raffles. Click on the link in the description. Make sure you're following them on Instagram and socials, Reality Raffles, because they've got unbelievable prizes, not just football, but football is the one we're promoting here. If you want to come to the Emirates, maybe you want to come meet me at the North London Derby, maybe you want to go and attend with your son or whatever it be, make sure you get to this game. Get in with a chance for this. Use the code FTM10 for 10% off, and good luck. And let me know if you win. I really hope that you do. I really hope that you do. Big up to everyone that's here. I don't know that I'll be back later because I'm obviously going to be at the game, but I will be on the football terrace at 2:30. So please come over and see me there with Straight Facts with LB and Terry. And we will see you next time, people. As always, take care and up the Arsenal. Latest.